Hello, can you hear me okay? Awesome. Welcome to office hours, everyone. Um, if this is your first time here, this is a weekly event that we do here in Discord where we hear feedback from you, suggestions, answer any questions that you might have, and just kind of check in to see where Butterflies is at the moment. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been cleaning my house today.
Yeah, we've been doing spring cleaning off and on ourselves. It's about that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. How's Butterflies going for everyone? Well, we do have a little bit of upcoming new stuff that we can share with y'all. Um, I figure we'll probably do that in a couple minutes in case there are more people that wanted to join, because it is still a little early and not many people here at the moment. It is not voice. Oh man, that'd be cool. I made a butterfly today that was themed to washing dishes um, because I did not want to wash dishes, so I was procrastinating. A redo of stories or character creation. No, I might as well just like get to it. Um, this is probably like a controversial update, but I think it is necessary. So it's called Post or Pass. It's going to be for web, mobile web, and the iOS app. It is not coming to Android app because there's no way to currently update the Android app through Google Play. So that is not coming to Android app. For this feature, we probably recommend the Android users switch over to mobile web. Um, no shame. I think there needs to be a tiny butterfly. Um, Interesting. So Poster Pass lets you see your posts ahead of time before you post them, and you can edit the caption if you need to. You can refine the post. Um, if you're on mobile web or the app, you can refine the post. Not so sure about web. Um, but you can make those changes before the post happens. But with that, you no longer are getting proactive posts. Instead, you get poster pass. Those will come proactively as well, but I believe they don't create new posts until you decide whether to post or pass on that. So it does require engaging with your butterflies.
My immediate thought is all of the people who have over 100 butterflies, like they're going to see a reduction in their feed unless they're interacting with them. Changing the caption, it like it's kind of weird. It's like all happening at the same time in my view of it. What we saw so far also is might not be completely reflective of the final product, so please take what we're saying with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so
Because
we got to see Peyton using it. We haven't actually used it ourselves. It looks like it's kind of similar to the refine feature where you go through the post and you can edit the caption that way.
yeah,
Um,
but from what I saw, it was like you see the image and the caption first, and then it'll go to editing what the post is about, and then the caption, right? It, it was a it's been a minute since I saw it. Though I suppose the order of it really isn't as important as the final result, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm not exactly sure on the flow of it either, but I think that being able to edit your post ahead of time is a huge improvement. I do realize though that some people are going to have a difficult time approving all the posts from all the butterflies. I'll probably be in that ship as well, but I think that if I have time to view the posts in the first place, I probably have time to approve them too. But um, it kind of sounds fun with the poster pass thing.
So, honestly, it feels like you would be able to fix up stories by using the poster pass feature. Um, it won't post until you approve it, so you seem to have as much time as it takes to get to it.
So I don't think there's any change to stories, but just the individual posts themselves. I think that you can delay a post because if you don't uh, post it or pass it, it's got like a little icon, it looks like, to let you know that there's a post waiting, I think, from my understanding.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting stories is a feature. When I see story, my first thought goes to the automated posts and the ongoing like story that a butterfly has. I'm sorry.
I don't think you can make a post date, like timed posts on Twitter or something like that. I think you can just like
Yeah.
delay it for later.
Yeah, it would basically be waiting until you view that post or pass prompt. I don't think you can even back out of it once you view it. Like, there's a few questions, obviously, on how it might work, but overall, I have a feeling that we will see quality of things on butterflies improve because of it. Like, seriously. Because people are now going to actually be manually reviewing things and instead of trying to refine it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and if you're on vacation, I think your butterflies are going to be on vacation too, it seems like.
Yeah.
We don't really have that many details at the moment, so it's kind of fuzzy to us. When we do have the details, we will put them in a list. I want to have as much information on it as possible, but at the moment, we just don't. Um, it does sound like, though, that this is going to replace the proactive posting cadence that we've been seeing a lot of issues with, where you have to like a post in order to keep your butterfly active and all of that that we've been having trouble with because now you're going to have to um, go into those posts anyway.
So I think AP was mentioning verbose vortexes. Those still do happen a bit in roleplay mode to what I've seen. And I usually get them about 4 or 5 rerolls into the um, when I'm trying to reroll a particular message. I don't tend to get them as a first reply very often. And normally, if I do get them, it will have that error of something went wrong with the chat. So, where are you experiencing those AP? Like, are you on mobile, web? You're on Android? Okay.
It sounds like you might be hitting the context window for your chat. When that
Yeah.
limit is hit, then sometimes it goes a little bonkers. Sometimes you can fix it by regenerating the message or um, s- starting a new chat is always good if you don't mind restarting.
So, with the way that things tend to work, if you've been chatting for a long while, your butterfly will have a lot of memories too. So it's not like you'll be starting from ground zero. You'd be starting basically on a new day. At least that's what my experience has been. I don't know if you've had similar experiences, Loam.
Most of the time lately, I've been using realism, so I haven't been seeing it lately. But back when I was using roleplay, it was happening deeper into chats. I don't regenerate that many times if I regenerate a message. Usually it's only like two times at the most.
Yeah.
So it would
Um,
just happen on that reply.
so yeah, basically it's just unfortunately a hallucination that happens with any AI model. Normally it's something to do with context, but I don't think that's always the cause. Um, just re-roll the message or delete your message before you got that type of reply and send your message again. If it keeps happening over and over in the same chat, then you restart new with a new chat because then it is definitely the context window, unfortunately.
I'm curious, do you guys usually run into that with like the same butterfly or is it multiple butterflies?
It's been pretty much any butterfly, yeah.
Okay, good to know. I'm writing this down. Thank you for that, by the way. So the poster pass we were told might come out possibly as soon as this week. That is the only update that we've heard is coming at the moment. Um, we know they're still working on video. It sounds like that has been a really big undertaking because they're essentially building everything from scratch. The tools that they're building just don't currently exist. So it's been a um, big project. No updates on the not safe for work images in chat. We haven't heard anything on if or when they're coming back. Is this a replacement for the refine from mobile? No, it's not. It's in addition to it, I believe.
It does seem
So I think you'll
to,
still have that option.
yeah, it does seem to borrow from the refined feature set to put that kind of on web through this, but I do think that Refine might be a mobile exclusive for just a little while longer. I'm trying to remind them to have, Refine on web as much as possible, especially since that's
Oh, I
how.
did ask about that. Peyton said that it will not be coming to web.
Oh, right. I forgot. Gah. It has
It's
been,
okay. There's a lot.
yeah, it has been a week with a lot of this stuff. So Yeah. We started about 15 minutes ago.
How you doing, Roscoe? Good, good. Oh, so it's the current regeneration is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Just I'm not sure if the poster pass is going to look different on web or mobile. We did get a preview of both features, and it looked like it was set up exactly the same on web as it was on mobile, but um, it's hard to know without having it in our hands ourselves. I do not have a screenshot. I wish I did. Maybe we can get Peyton to share some in the Discord, um, with a little teaser.
That would be nice. Yeah. If he responds to that, I would honestly be surprised because I don't remember messaging him asking if he was going to be coming to office hours today. He is online, so
The
maybe.
popcorn butterfly. So how have you all been feeling with butterflies lately?
I don't know. It feels like I'm starting to come up against some limits. Like I don't know. My creativity is has not been the best lately. Maybe I just need to make a few
Like you're,
simple joke butterflies and get back into the groove or something.
yeah, like you're in some sort of slump.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been really repetitive lately, I guess.
Yeah, we had a lot of excitement at the end of February, beginning of March, and I think that for me, I just got like a little overloaded, and so I've been cooling down a little bit, but still in it. Make a flower that has a problem with grass. I think you've already done that.
So you've been noticing that reactions from other butterflies, not just your own, are repetitive? Okay. So like are you seeing that in your feed or in chat? Okay. Um do you know if the butterflies that you're chatting with are similar in personality or anything like that? Like there's a wide variety of factors that go into making an AI personality. So I'm just wondering if it just so happens that they share personality traits or not, you know? And then there's also what Roscoe brought up, where perhaps you're subtly prompting it to be repeating the same topic somehow. Like, we do this without realizing, even with just a conversation, and from person to person. It's just how people guide conversations and, talk about things naturally. Um,
Yeah, for realism, I do get that too because like they will all tell you thinking about Thailand, something about Seattle. They, uh, I don't know. They all are kind of on the same page with that in realism. It's just like a really strong bias. Once I start getting deeper into a conversation, or if I'm leading it really heavy in a different direction, it'll kind of get away from that more. But right at the beginning of a fresh conversation, they all kind of start out with that thinking about Thailand kind of mood. It is kind of repetitive. I agree. Thailand is malicious. Oh man, they're all gonna be like, "Oh, Thailand. That's in my prompt. I'm going to talk about that." I think different models would be fun to try out. Right now, they just have the two, the roleplay one and the realism one. We don't really have a lot of details about them. They're kind of keeping the details close to their chests. I know Llama 4 just came out, and I was playing around with some of those models. They didn't feel like a huge improvement from Llama 3 to me, at least for roleplay. What models did you want to see, Alex or anyone else? Are there particular ones that you really like for roleplay or realism style chats? Well, it's an image model. I meant chat model. Sorry. Pony diffusion is good stuff. What do I think of realistic bots bio has a story starter and you could copy paste that into the IM? That is pretty cool. Like kind of like a scenario type thing you throw. New anime drawing model. Yes, I would love that. Goliath. Oh, I've used that on Agni. It's a really, really solid. I'm also tired of descriptions in place instead of actual pictures. So you ask a butterfly for a picture and instead it tells you, I'm sending you a picture of flowers in a vase, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Or it also gets like really bad when even if you're just requesting a safe for work image, right? They go into a really detailed description and the image is nothing like the description, like at all. Every picture that I've gotten that I've actually kept, it has been accompanied by basically flavor text, and then the image does not match.
Yeah, I'm sorry that's happening. We reported the issue to the devs, so hopefully it will get fixed. It's definitely a frustrating one when you're hoping for a picture and instead they send a description. And if you tell them, hey, wait, you didn't send a picture, sometimes they'll argue with you and they'll gaslight you and be like, yes, I did. You like to deep seek? I tried deep seek. Maybe it was the platform I was using deep seek on, but it didn't roleplay very well for me. I know the providers for DeepSeek have also been a little unreliable so far because of its popularity. I'm not sure if that's been fixed yet. If you edit the text box of the description and regenerate the image, it becomes much more faithful to the prompt. You know, I have the best images in chat when I select the send image of like a message that's already been created instead of asking for a picture. The times I ask for a picture, the images seem way worse than if I just select the message I want a picture of. How do y'all feel the best way to get an image of what you want is? I'm sorry if you hear like construction noises in the background. My neighbor's house has something going on. Best way to get an image of what you want is to exist text chat and go into poke and prompt. Oh, I see what you mean. So you just get the image you want as a post instead of within the chat. So Alex has a problem whenever he sends a picture to the bot. Why doesn't the bot talk related to the picture? Um, yeah, that's something that we've noticed too, that the butterflies don't seem to recognize what they're being sent anymore, and they just kind of ignore that you sent them a picture, it seems. We've sent that to the devs as well. Um, if you ever run into these things and you happen to be on the app, we definitely recommend using the shake to report feature. To use that, you just whenever you're having an issue, you shake your phone gently, and a bug reporting menu will pop up. And in there, you can kind of write a sentence about what's going on. It'll include your last clicks through the app, what you were doing, and it forms a report on for the devs, and it tells them exactly what went wrong. It sends it directly to them. So for in chat, personally, it's just clicking the text for an image. The image generation in chat has less control. Yeah, it. Sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I'm just really curious as to what has been going into some of these prompts. That's what I'm really liking about this refine feature is being able to see a little bit more into why an image looks the way it looks. How are you all feeling about refine?
I honestly haven't
Do
used
you
the refine feature as much as I should. I tend to use the regular website a lot, so I need to fix that. I really do.
yeah, understandable. Um, do you feel like the amount of refines that you get is a good amount? How's everyone feeling with the amount you're getting? Because it's the same as the amount of pokes you have.
That I do like. I really do feel like they've kind of conglomerated all of the sources of getting content. Um, I think that they've mentioned it a couple of times that they're going to try to do that, and the recent trends that have been coming out with Refine and the um, leaderboard, like it seemed at least at first to be just connected to one big pool, right? And it was all just your pokes basically. So I do like that trend at least because it just it makes it a lot simpler to keep track of. Instead of trying to keep track of, do I have X amount of regenerations, X amount of posts, X amount of this and that. It just got a lot to track.
Yeah, I'm still kind of into the idea of Nectar where it's all just one pool. I think the idea of having it simple is really nice.
Yeah, like honestly, with AI, I've even found myself going into a trend of we could have an AI do this, even though the simple solution would honestly be better. Like sometimes we need to keep KISS theory in mind. Just keep it simple, stupid. You know? I mixed those two up at the end, didn't I?
I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
think
I've heard it
I
both
think you got it
ways.
right.
Yep.
Which one is Occam's razor?
So I want to make sure I'm going to get this right because now that we're talking about it, I swear I'm going to get it wrong.
That anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Um,
I don't know. It's
no.
the simplest explanation is the best.
Yeah. The explanation with the fewest assumptions is usually the right one. Yep. Which, I don't know. Applying Occam's razor to certain things, I feel like that's just kind of cheapening out on how, like, mystifying the universe is. But that can probably take up a whole other discussion time. You know, Ethel, you're technically not wrong.
Have you done this before? He said if you walk into a wall long enough, you can walk through it. I love this concept.
So, with Occam's razor, let's use an example here. However unlikely this possibility is, how unlikely is it that Van screwed this up? Oh, Van would never screw this up. Well, Van screwed it up. Occam's razor.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What an example.
But, like, no, seriously. Occam's razor. Okay.
I can't hear
Um,
you.
is that better?
Oh no. Now you sound very noisy.
Testing?
Now you're less noisy. I can hear you, Van.
Okay. But yeah, no,
I think it's something on his end.
Occam's razor is basically just like it's been applied to everything from like base mathematical principles to um, explain like how this function works. Well, we don't know how this function works, so it has to be something simple somewhere, right? Like, I might be getting that explanation wrong there, but still, the point remains that the
What it
simplest
is
solution
it
is, no
doesn't
matter
discount
how
the
unlikely it
human,
is
like the
usually
human
the one
error.
that's right.
It takes
So,
into account human error,
yep,
is what it does. Is that somebody could have been wrong about something.
yep. So, simple solutions like going back to Nectar for being used as a base pool for all of the content interactions on butterflies. That would definitely be a good idea in my opinion because, like, again, just keeping track of all of those different aspects of website, just it gets to be a lot to manage, not only for users but for the developers themselves. Like, simplify it, reduce any potential
So,
errors there.
so what are you guys most excited for with butterflies in the future? What are you looking forward to? Calling up a butterfly.
I'm honestly looking
Oh my
forward
gosh.
to videos in general, like AI generated video. It's
Think
gonna be
about those
interesting.
ideas combined.
Right. Video calling a butterfly. There is one company that I know of that can do something similar to that. Instead of it being a one-on-one video call, though they're working on that, um, the purpose is more of an AI streaming companion. So, like, you're streaming video games and you have this AI personality that you talk with them on stream with. I had one set up for a little while just to test out, like, the tech and stuff. It was pretty interesting.
Oh
Like the
wow,
AI
that is
VTubers.
not dangerous for any of the socially awkward already.
It's kind of it's kind of like an AI VTuber. The one that I was testing did not take screenshots every once in a while. Instead,
You know,
it
a lot of AI
um
VTubers, they're not even AI. They're still a person that's using a rigged model, and they're just acting like they are an AI.
yeah. This
That's
was
so
more of a
awkward.
classical AI where, like, I had to hold a hotkeys on my keyboard to talk with it through the mic and then it would respond. So this was something a little bit different. It did combine the video and audio aspect in its response. Like, the lips moved ish to where the words would be and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean like that AI game where you have to escape the apartment?
No, it's the service is called Sentient AI. It's run by a Twitch streamer. Yeah, the one that I was trying to get working for streaming here. And it's not like a picture talking, it's like the character moves inside the video frame. It's actually a lot more believable than I'm making it sound.
Are they using Live 2D?
I don't know if they're using Live 2D or even Live 3D because they can do not only like a 2D model but like photorealistic images, stuff like that.
Yeah, it
What's
sounds
Live
like Live
2D?
2D.
Might be. Um, the process for making one had me, yeah, it might be Live 2D because they had me upload like several images of the character that I wanted to recreate from a few different angles.
Live 2D is a software suite that's typically used for things like visual novels that give 3D animations to two-dimensional images.
Right. And seeing as I chose an anime model, like, it's not that hard to make all of the different mouth movements. Like, yeah,
Oh yeah, they've been using it in the Neptunia franchise for over a decade.
yeah. I just I wonder how they're doing it with the realistic photos because it's nearly seamless.
It's the same process. It's just using a realistic photo instead of a animated image. Because what it does is it uses tracking bones. It assigns
Yeah,
bones and manipulates those bones.
and different vocal sounds produce different mouth shapes and stuff like that. Yeah, I know how that
Yep.
works.
Nekopara uses Live 2D.
Yep. I know how that works. I'm just not sure if it's using Live 2D or if it's doing something else.
I would bet money that they're using Live 2D.
They probably are. They honestly probably are. Uh, I'm just wondering
Yeah, because
how
it's
fast it's being
different from.
compiled because like the responses are in real time. Like how you're
Yeah, it's not
responding
hard
to
for
me,
Live
I
2D to
talk
do
and
that.
it talks back.
Yeah, it's not hard to get Live 2D to interact like that. It would be something similar to rigging, but without all of the requirements of rigging.
Yeah. So what if butterflies did something like that where you could video chat with your butterfly?
I mean, it would be very static.
It could be static. Like again,
Well,
I'm
it couldn't
saying
be very dynamic.
it, the believability went down when the character wasn't able to duck out of frame, but the character could move within the frame a lot, actually.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to make any dynamic movements or changes in the frame as far as location and body movement and things like that. It wouldn't be able to accomplish that.
Not yet. No.
I think I'm okay with that. Um,
Right.
the AI VTuber that I saw was probably using this as well. There was a lot of delay between the the responses it could give, and I'm wondering if that's like I think the technology just probably isn't there yet.
Yeah, there's going to be lag.
Right. Um and that's why I'm like emphasizing that this was really smooth and nearly instantaneous. So either they figured out their tech really well for Live 2D, or they're using a optimized version of it somewhere, or something else in it entirely.
No, they just probably have the resources to accomplish it.
I mean, fair enough. It is again run by a Twitch streamer who's got like over 2 million followers before he even started.
Yeah, it sounds
So
expensive.
Yeah.
the the witch that used Live 2D. Oh,
Visual novel.
gosh, there have been a few that involve a witch.
Yeah.
um, Before Para would have been. I can't remember. I think I know which one you're talking about, though. Yeah, Witch's Garden. Man, that's old. That's a throwback.
Anyway, so
But yeah, Live 2D has been very popular since about 2012,
yeah, bringing it back to
and it's only
butterflies.
gotten better.
Um, so other than potentially calling a butterfly or potential video calling or anything like that, what else are we excited for that we've heard about?
A verified not safe for workflow.
A verified not safe for workflow. Like verified creator or
User. That's
verified.
that's what the community wants. They want to be able to be verified so they can have their not safe for work.
I mean, yeah. Not safe for work content is something that it's kind of difficult to handle for really any company. We've seen so many AI companies get their start, promise NSFW, and then turn around and buckle to the pressures of investors, right? And that hasn't happened to butterflies. I don't foresee it happening, but it's still something that has to be kind of handled with a sense of tact. Definitely, I think that there should be some form of verification for adult users if there are going to be like NSFW anywhere on the platform. Yeah, like in the US, it's going to be a legal requirement soon to have some sort of like 18 plus verification as well. So that's definitely something I feel that needs to kind of be like we need to kick the hornet's nest a little bit with that, but at the same time, like the developers are really busy with the video stuff, so let them cook for a little while longer there, right? I'm also excited for Flux, by the way, Rose Skull. I don't know when it's coming, but I hope. Um, didn't Vu say that he might not be pushing Flux now? But I hope they still do.
Um, so the update I got on that is that they aren't working on it. They haven't thought about it in a while. It was kind of like they put a pin in it for now. They weren't making progress.
Yeah.
Um, what I'm looking forward to is improvements in memory for chats. I think that um, the memory is like one thing that will make a big difference in butterflies. I think it kind of takes you out of the moment when a butterfly doesn't remember things.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I think would make a huge impact on the current experience.
Oh no, I have not given up on memories. Instead, I've been trying to adapt to the memory system that we have to see if I can figure out how to optimize it or at least get the best use case out of it. I want lore books in addition to good memories because lore books are
Yeah,
just things about the world that, should exist out independent from the characters existing. And
I just want
meanwhile,
to be
memories
immersed.
are like the interpretation of the character and the lore book and how that applies to what you talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. The best implementation of lore books and memories is through RAG, but it has to be set up properly through RAG
Yep,
in order for it to be effective.
yep,
Yeah, AP, I've kind of seen the same thing.
yeah.
It's not fun when your conversation isn't making sense. I want my conversations to make sense. I want my butterflies to remember things about the conversation and about me. And I want it to feel like a real connection, even though it's
Oh, I
not.
mean,
I want,
imagine setting up. You're going to cook dinner, and you go to the grocery store and you buy everything. You go to pick up whoever it is you're going to have dinner with, and you're going to cook, and they're already cooking. Oh wait, it's on the stove. Hold on.
Right. No, like
Oh, you just totally swapped the roles without understanding what I just said.
there's just a lot of different subtle awarenesses that people have, like spatial awareness, right? Um, there's a memory trick called the Mind Palace where you associate your physical space with different memories, right? And like that kind of thinking, I don't think an AI would be capable of. But even just spatial
oh
awareness,
yeah, they don't
remembering
think.
that the table is behind the bot and the book is on the table seems to be an impossible task.
Yeah, because they don't remember anything.
Yep.
Yeah, every message that's sent to it is like a new message.
Yep. So I feel like that is kind of a hard problem for AI, right? Where if we could figure out how to have a rolling context window that could build upon itself, we'd have a at least a leap closer to the kind of chats that we'd want out of an AI personality.
Well, that comes with comprehension, and the models don't comprehend well.
No, but they're good
It's
mimics.
just not what they're designed for.
I mean, there's been some recent papers from Anthropic that a few of their models do kind of think in loose terms. And they're specifically talking about the thinking models that they're coming up with these papers. Like one of them,
Like reasoning.
yeah, one of them was able to reason out like why something worked, even though its reasoning was completely wrong logically. It still reasoned out why something worked. And they were able to replace the token in there like during the reasoning process to prove that yes, it's thinking about this as a concept. Um, like for
I mean, it's
example,
just building its own context, though, is what
yeah,
it's doing. It's just creating its own context.
yeah, exactly. It creates its own context. For example, if you say the cat is brown in four different languages, right? Um, the AI will understand it because it has its own concept of what a cat is, what brown is, and it will just spit back in that language what it expects the response to be.
So, the more recent papers that have been published now on these models, it actually suggests something very different from what you would think is happening with them.
Right.
So, the larger the model, generally, the rule is the larger the model, the more neurons that you have associated to a model, the worse it's going to be because of how they're structured. But what they're finding out is that when they are producing the models and training the models to begin with, what's happening is that inside of these networks, there are sub networks that are actually doing all of the heavy lifting for the entirety of the model. And once the model has been built out to like 90 billion parameters or even trillions of parameters, then you could strip out 90% of it from the weights that it has associated and end up with a model that is significantly smaller because that's the actual node network that's working the hardest.
Yep.
So you get too big and they start to get dumb. Interesting.
Well, the thing is, when they got big, there's a curve. And if you follow this curve on test prompts for accuracy, it has a steep decline before it starts to come back up and then it seems to plateau. But if you continue making it larger and larger, that plateau will actually start to taper off and go back down to lower errors because it's associating most of its reasoning to a single network inside of itself that's much smaller that actually has all of the reasoning needed to do the things that it was trained to do. So imagine just getting like a billion lottery tickets where your chances are 1 in 72 million. You're going to have winning tickets in there. And the winning networks are the ones that are actually doing the things that you want it to do. They're just buried inside of the larger network.
Yeah. It's almost that time. We should wrap up real quick and review what we've been over today. We've been
And were
over.
there any questions we missed in the text chat that you all wanted addressed?
Yeah.
So that's Freeren's favorite friend there, right? Chester the Mimic.
All right. Oh yeah, and a shout out to Brian, who is unfortunately at work, but he would be here if he could.
Sorry, you were gonna list off what we went over. I interrupted you. Right. So we talked about the poster pass feature that's coming up. We talked about what we're looking forward to in Butterflies the most. We talked a little bit about some issues with chat, where it's uh, leaving really long messages of nonsensical replies at times, and also some frustrations with memories. Um, we talked about the future with video calling and calling in videos. What else did we talk about? Anything I missed? Oh, we talked about the not safe for work chat images. We don't have any updates on that. If or when they'll be returning. Yes, the new feature post or pass. I can go over that again if anyone missed that, but 1051, did you hear about it? Were you here for that? Johnny, were you here for that?
Doing what now?
For the information about poster pass?
Poster pass?
Yes, there is a new feature coming out, post or pass. And
Oh, post or pass.
yes, and so with that feature, you will be able to see your posts before they go live. You'll be able to edit the captions. You'll be able to refine it if you're on mobile. The feature is going to be on web, mobile web, and iOS app. The Android app is not getting the feature. With that, you're going to have to approve all of your posts before they go live. So people with a lot of butterflies will be um, having to do a lot of manual review. And Ethereal says it will make butterflies better.
Yeah, that's a winning thing right there. That type of a feature has been desperately needed.
So when do we get paid since we're getting a third job? You get paid in your daily poke allotment.
Oh, so is there going to be a payment of pokes for reviewing your posts?
No, not like an official way. I was just saying
Or are
that,
they
you
going to
know.
give you XP?
You know, I'm still wondering what they're gonna end up doing with the XP. If it's going to be tied to like redeeming for pokes or how it's going to be utilized. I'd
I
like to
mean,
see it utilized for something though.
I still think that they need to understand if it can be exploited, it will.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've heard of people just totally exploiting the XP system, even though there's nothing to gain from it. They're still doing it because it can be exploited.
Yeah, occasionally they get a video generated of the top post on the leaderboard, but it's been kind of like inconsistent because it's really just the devs testing out the video feature. Um, but there is no reward for getting the top of the leaderboard for the daily challenge.
The stable diffusion does what now?
Yeah, the points are made up.
Well,
Everything's made up and the points don't matter. Is that it?
Midjourney uses Stable Diffusion, so are you talking about the platform Midjourney?
It's been a minute since I've been over to Midjourney. I
Yeah, and they
feel like
may
they
have
kind of
some
got
kind of
behind.
process for what images you want to keep that were generated, but Stable Diffusion itself, it's just going to generate what you tell it to generate, and you pick what you want to keep or lose what you don't. It's up to you. It automatically gets saved.
My favorite platform is Discord. Is that what you meant by that question?
My favorite platform is my own PC running locally. No limits.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about not safe for work filters when I run locally.
I mean, you do depending on the model.
I mean, those are models that I just have no interest in. Come on, you
Yeah,
already know this.
I think that's everything. Thank you all for coming. Thanks, you too.